Amazing. I was really curious what you guys think about men doing porn and OnlyFans versus women, because obviously you have your opinion about women doing it. So her boyfriend, for example, who is sorry to single you out. Like, how do you think that influences a relationship between a man and a woman versus the opposite, where the woman is the one who's doing it?
I mean, I can chime in real quickly.
Yeah, you're the one, right?
Like, it has had zero impact on my dating life. Precisely zero. Like, I've dated girls who are super religious. My last 3 girlfriends were all extremely...
Actually, that is
Would
true.
you guys agree? Would you guys agree?
Well, again, the data would show that women are far less interested in a man's body count than the other way around. Again, this is a 37 culture study that they show that pretty much exclusively. Also, women are far more interested in a man's ability to acquire resources, about 100% more than the other way around.
But aren't men now more likely to, I think even bust in like 2021, Corinne Lowe, the one that Richard Reeves mentioned, that men now are rating women as more attractive when they make more money than in the past.
I think if I had 2 to pick from and one of them was a millionaire, I could see that. I could see it as a tiebreaker, but I don't know.
Icing on the cake.
Yeah, I see it as icing on the cake.
Like, how hot is she?
My girlfriend was broke when I met her. I could not have cared less how tall she was or how much money she made.
So like the studies where they bring like 2 million people and they put pictures, and then even for men and women, and they put different income.
No. You're talking about the one where they put them in different outfits. So
No. I'm
McDonald's
talking about the
worker.
Corinne Lowe one, the Economist one, who put like, they took 2 million, I think, dating app users or whatever, and they put like a picture of me, and then they put how much money I make, whatever. And when I made more money, I was rated as more attractive by men.
Well, I think there's no way you wouldn't be rated more attractive by men if it's the same physical form and we have 2 people to choose from. Right.
I'm more attractive. I make more money.
But how much?
But you are not more arousing.
This is what I mean when I say you argue in bad faith.
No, I mean that's literally
I want you to consider the other one. It was Gad Sad.
Even Bus found this in
the one Gad Sad referred to when he was on Joe Rogan, where he talks about they showed a man in 3 different outfits, and the bottom one being McDonald's, and then they did a woman in 3 different outfits, and the bottom one being McDonald's, and none of the women said that they would date the guy in the McDonald's outfit, and then the man who had the Rolex and looked like very wealthy, many of the women said I would consider going out with him, but there was no difference in the 3 photos for women.
So you're right that still men care less, but I'm saying that we're seeing as time goes on, men are caring more and more than they did in the past, and that typically
could it be because they're all poor now?
Broke
Is that what
I think both men and women
they're all making so much money now.
And here's the other thing too.
We're like broken, starving. Please feed us.
Who is it that cares? It's the men that you're not attracted to. The men that care about a woman's income a lot of the times are the guys that women inherently aren't attracted to anyway. And here's the other thing too. You just said it yourself. You answered your own question. Oh, well, it's the same picture. One says 100,000, another one says 50. Well, yeah, the guy's going to go with the girl that makes 100K because he's like, okay, she makes more money.
No, but it wasn't just the same. What I'm saying is they put a bunch, and they found overall men were rating women as more attractive.
Do you know what the correlation was?
Again, you're missing the biggest thing. Looks come first. Everything like finances is like a distant 7th place.
But it's becoming more and more like men. This idea that men don't care. Men are finding women more attractive when they make more money.
Yeah, and that should be raising the marriage rate, but it fucking isn't. So
it is for us. It is for the women making a lot of money and are most educated. It's raising it for us.
They're not getting any.
I can't get a college education. I can't get a job in education. I can't get a job in fucking in psychology.
Speak real quick.
Can I talk? Or
hold on, wait. She was first.
All right,
okay,
and then we'll go to you two.
I just have one thing to say to Sterling. So my boyfriend does OnlyFans, so you guys are in you formerly same career field.
Retired repenting.
But that's what he says. He says a lot of porn stars, former porn stars, they'll go into the business, make a shit ton of money, and then try to turn it around and try to leave it in the dust, and it's but you still
not a lot.
Unless he's doing gay stuff.
But only the big ones. That's the thing. Roads, Mia Khalifa, they're
No. There's about 4. There's about 4. Let me give you some perspective. So when I was working in Los Angeles as a male talent, right, I am working with about a roster of about at least 1,000, if not 1,500 women, right, across the country. The male talent pool, at most, across LA, Vegas, Miami, and the rest of America, 50 dudes who are regularly shooting.
Yeah. There's a great book on the a movie on this. It's called After Porn Ends. Have you ever seen it? No. You should definitely watch. Just skip to the end. At the very end, they go after what happens. Have you seen this movie?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
And at the very end, you just see all the women. They go back into porn. Several of them get back into drug addiction. Yep. It's just horrible. And the guys are playing golf. One of them opened a law firm. Like absolutely, they had families. It just doesn't seem to have the same effect being sexually promiscuous for men as women.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
And there's the exception to the rule, but at the end of the day, like everything you're saying right now may be factual based on what you've been through, but that does not necessarily...
I didn't speak about my anecdotal
I know, but
I brought up stats. My anecdotal experience being
But would you agree that stats are lagging? And also something like social media is such an exponential factor and something that is growing at such a rapid rate that this could be the end-all and be-all that are literally breaking or making stats in the next couple of years.
Sure, so like Myron speculated we're going to see this actually, because all I'm saying is right now it's not making these real world effects. I'm looking at
Would you be that surprised if you saw them?
I wouldn't.
Would you be mind blown if you saw what he said actually play out over the period of the next 5 years?
I can vehemently agree that I would be mind blown if the stuff that's said on this podcast were
actually play out,
borne out in data.
Well, it'll be a fun 5 years from now.
Wait. What specifically? What specifically?
What do you mean? That if all the things you guys say, that if men and women are doing these more traditional things and that men are dating all these 19-year-olds that are virgins that aren't educated, that all of a sudden that's going to be really great. A lot of the stuff you guys say, like if all of that starts to actually play out in the data, if we're seeing this great increase in hypergamy where all of a sudden people aren't marrying people at the same...
I never said don't get girls that aren't educated.
It's not an increase of hypergamy.
I never said that.
Go ahead, sorry.
What I said is that it's okay for a woman to be educated. It's just that men don't necessarily care for as much as women tend to think, and we don't necessarily care about their career as much. Now should you? Should you care? It shouldn't be the main factor. It shouldn't be like a deal breaker if woman's educated or not.
Well, I have a question then, because IQ is highly heritable, right? And children that are born, maternal education is one of the greatest factors in childhood development.
But not in IQ. It doesn't develop IQ.
No, but IQ is also highly...
high.
I agree, but like for instance, like it depends what level of education, right? Like I scored in the top 2% on the LSAT. Like I've never taken an IQ test, but like IQ is highly heritable. And even if we're just looking at maternal education, children born to parents that are mothers that are educated score way higher proficiency in math, science, etc.
Because they have higher IQ. It's not the other way around. It's not like my Harvard degree didn't make my children smarter. It's like I had a higher IQ, which got me a Harvard degree, which caused me.
So then shouldn't you, if you're shouldn't you be selecting for that if you want your children?
Sure. But that's not what you asked though. You said should you be, and the thing is, our ability to be attracted to a certain thing is not our choice, because attraction isn't a choice, because our attraction mechanisms are based in 178 million years of mammalian evolution, 3 million years of hominid evolution, and 200,000 years of Homo sapien evolution.
I get it, but my point is that if you're doing a show where you're giving advice to men, I think good advice would be find a woman who's smart and is college educated, because it's going to be better for your kids. If you're just going to say you like what you like, then what the fuck is the point of the show? The point of the show is we're giving men advice on who makes a good partner, what to look for, self-improvement, etc.
Show your on Instagram and
that's not an argument. That's not a good argument.
Not a good example.
Here's the thing.
I'm not talking about me.
You're dismissing, and I've noticed this, you're dismissing an enormous amount of what we talk on this podcast, and you're generalizing things that aren't necessarily even true. So that's fine. You're going off of stereotypes, but you're missing an enormous amount of what we teach on the pod for guys to be
your
successful.
Your advice is dog shit, by the way.
Dog shit.
Yeah, I wanted to...
Guys, don't fucking attack her personally, man.
Bro, I don't give a fuck, man.
Man, come on, man. Shut up.
Yeah, what I wanted to say before is that like there are studies that do showcase that men do care a certain level about education because of that exact reason. Because you can talk about mammalian evolution, and a lot of it is not just like being able to produce, but making sure that your kids can thrive and survive. Because if your kid basically reproduces and dies in 2 seconds,
for sure. But the thing is, the heritability of education, of IQ, is not something we even knew 50 years ago. Yeah. So that doesn't fit in evolution. But my point is, I also don't need to be excessively intelligent to replicate. So from a genetic, now, should I care? Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm not saying I shouldn't. What I'm saying is that doesn't make my harder. No. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I agree with you, but you shouldn't just go by what makes your wiener harder.
For sure.
Wait.
All right. What did you have to say?
I was gonna. Sorry. Okay. I was gonna say that just because like you don't necessarily like know it consciously doesn't mean that there aren't like subconscious factors that influence it, right? So for example, like let's say virality, like a person being able to be like sexually active to begin with, it might not be like a factor that like we are able to see at firsthand, but then like throughout interactions or whatever, you're able to gain more of a consciousness for it. And I guess what I'm trying to say overall is that like yes, education matters. I think education, like being able to talk to someone is the way that intelligence shows. That does affect like attraction. And then on top of that, like I think the way that human society has been evolving, it's been evolving to not just have many children, but to have maybe fewer children, but children that thrive, children that are doing better, children that are not like dying in the fields, children that are actually like able to gain like higher and higher statuses. So I think that's why you've like seen a shift in like lower fertility that isn't necessarily bad. Okay, I'm done.